Hello, I'm Wendy, and today we're practicing applying a nice even wash of watercolour onto your painting. If you enjoy the video, you can give me a like, you can subscribe, and you can also visit my website to learn a lot more about watercolour painting. It's really important that you have a nice lot of colour mixed up ready. Really, you should mix up a lot more than you think you need. When you're practicing doing these washes, use quite a dilute mix, because you'll find that much easier to apply. As you can see, I'm using tube colour here, and I'm keeping the tube colour separate from the area where I'm mixing with the water. This is really important because otherwise you'll get little bits of paint that's not dissolved in your final wash mix, and that will look really awful in your wash and you'll be very disappointed with it. Well, finally we've got enough paint mixed. I'm starting now to cover a small area of paper with a wash. Load the brush, go from the left hand side to the right hand side, and have that little bead of paint along the bottom edge all the time. As you come down, you don't need to load your brush every time because you've got a lot of paint in the bead and it will keep you going down to the bottom of the wash. I'm doing another one here, and if you see the angle that I'm holding the brush at, a lot of people do paint with it like this, and sometimes it works, but I've found it easier if you actually turn your brush at an angle so it's more horizontal to the paper, as I'm doing now. And I think it's because probably you've got more of the paint in your brush and it keeps the wash much more even, and you don't get the lines in it. Well, okay, so now we're starting on a bigger wash and we're tackling it in exactly the same way. We're going to get that bead of paint running down the paper. I do have the paper and the board that it's on a slight angle, about 15 degrees I should say, which does help. And also be prepared to make the angle a little bit steeper as you're painting. As I come towards the end of the wash, I won't always go back to the pool because there's a lot of colour in the bead already. What you can do towards the end is dry your brush off and then just bring it along the bottom edge, and that will get rid of that puddle of colour that could run back into your wash. Now, what if you want one of those nice, flat, even washes behind quite a complicated structure, like this cottage with these chimneys? You can see I'm tackling this in the same way until I get to the top of the chimneys. The trick then is to try and keep that bead of wet paint in each segment as you're painting downwards. You can see also then that you can afford to do some vertical strokes to keep these nice sharp edges on the sides of the chimneys and along the roof. As you can see, I did get a few lines developing in this little picture. I think I must have changed the consistency of paint or been working a little bit too slowly. So I had another go at this, and although it wasn't perfect, it was a bit better than the last one. I just hope it doesn't send you to sleep. Right, I'll give you a little bit of a tip after all that. I think you'll find it easier to actually turn the drawing upside down. I usually do on a subject such as this little cottage. I don't know why, but it does seem to be easier to apply a flat wash by doing it this way. You do have to work in exactly the same way, and you do have to keep that bead of paint in each little section again, and have a go at doing it this way and the other way, and see which you find is the best. So lots of practicing now, so we can get these washes right, and then we'll move on to some more interesting skies. Hope you join me next time.